the way this movie goes, I think RRR should actually stand for really, really riveting. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about a newer release, RRR. Before we begin, let me know in the comments what your thoughts on this movie were, if you already saw it, or if you were planning on seeing it, and make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these reviews, as it helps me out immensely by getting my content out there. And if you're new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with more movie-related content like action movie reviews on a near daily basis. But let's not waste any more time and let's talk about RRR. This is a fictitious story about two legendary revolutionaries and their journey away from home before they start fighting for their country in the 1920s. This is written and directed by S.S. Rajamouli, whose work I'm unfamiliar with, but he's most known for his work in the action genre, with two of his previous films being some of the highest grossing films in India to date. And when the film hit theaters earlier this year, this quickly became the third of his films to have that distinction, and it caught on internationally as one of the best and most epic movies of the year. It's the sort of film that audiences long for in mainstream Hollywood, where it's an original story that's filled with a little of everything, or should I say a lot of everything, considering it's a 3-hour-long movie. But it's an action movie mixed with a buddy comedy, mixed with a musical, mixed with a political drama, mixed with a heartfelt romantic drama. It's got a lot of elaborate set design, CGI, and a wide array of characters. And to get this all out of the way, don't let that 3-hour runtime intimidate you, especially as longer movies seem to be what people want out of blockbusters these days anyway, because this movie flies by. You will almost never feel bored with this for the amount it throws at you. Like, right out of the gate, it starts off showing this tyrannical British governor, played by Ray Stevenson, who comes in and invades this small village, which quickly explodes into this gripping, action-packed sequence that goes from a fight with a tiger to a really elaborate sequence in which our two lead characters, Bheem and Raju, who have two opposing agendas but are unaware of it, unite to save a boy from a train wreck. So, as I mentioned in the plot synopsis, our two leads, along with a number of characters here, are all based on real people, though all the events here, as seen in a lengthy disclaimer, are meant to be purely fictional. If you know anything about the real people anyone's based off of, I'd say check that at the door, as the historical context is merely used as a backdrop, and otherwise, this is meant to be purely escapist fare. And like I said, it hits you with a lot, incorporating a variety of genres from an action-packed epic to a buddy movie, and so on. Now, for some who prefer their movies maintain one specific tone and just go with that, you might find this a little jarring. And yeah, admittedly, every so often it is, when it just jumps from this really elaborate set design with all these stunts, and then it suddenly cuts to this much more easygoing storyline regarding this friendship that forms between our two leads. But the thing that allows the film to get away with it all so easily is just how much it really doesn't care if you think it's so jarring, and how it openly embraces each genre element it goes for. And if anything, while it shifts from genre to genre, it also maintains that very larger-than-life feel for nearly the entire runtime. To say it's a movie that goes big would be an understatement. When it's action-packed, it's so grandiose and bombastic, and when it goes for something a little more sentimental, it can really lay on the emotions thick. Now, sometimes in those moments that rely a little more on performances, that can be a bit hit and miss, though I will say our two leads, N.T. Rama Rao Jr. and Ram Charam, are both quite good here, with a good part of this movie being about this friendship that forms between them, despite being completely unaware of the other's true agendas. As Bheem, Rao's character, is a guard for his tribe resisting the British rule, while Charam's character Raju is an officer who works with the British. But again, neither are aware of the other's true occupations and agendas. Now, on the other hand, the acting from some of the supporting players isn't all that good. In particular, some of the British characters can be a little shoddy. Ray Stevenson's always reliable, so he's not the problem, but Alison Doody, who plays his wife Catherine, and is meant to be the more sadistic of the two, isn't particularly all that great. I think part of the film's intention was for her to come off as really over-the-top and cartoonish, and while I think that's conveyed, it still felt like a noticeably disjointed performance, and the same goes for a number of the British characters who have fairly large roles in the film, so it's not even like they just have glorified cameos or anything. But thankfully, they're not what drives the whole film forward. The big emotional factor of this is the friendship that forms between Bheem and Raju. It takes on more of a bromance vibe, complete with songs about friendship or other elaborate dance sequences that focus on the two of them being completely in sync with one another. Again, it's one of those things where it lays it on quite thick, but the way the film just openly embraces it, with some excellent chemistry between Rao and Charam, it makes the friendship quite endearing. And while the film does feature a lot of political drama, don't worry too much if you think it's going to bog the movie down, as it quickly gets back to this friendship, which is at the heart of the film. Now, as far as the songs, it doesn't break out into song and dance like every few minutes or so, like in your typical musical. Like, even though this dabbles a bit in the musical genre, I wouldn't classify it as a full-on musical by any means. But when music does play a crucial factor into the film, it just adds to the overall riveting feel. Probably one of the biggest highlights for me is the song Natu Natu, which is the song I mentioned earlier involving the totally in-sync dancing between our two leads. And it's just an absolute blast. It made me want to get up and dance along with them. And the choreography here is fantastic, whether it be during a musical sequence or during an action-packed moment. Like, the way everyone moves, it feels so incredibly smooth, and with the larger-than-life tone of the movie, it almost makes our characters feel like superheroes at times, especially when you have such a bombastic score playing in the background that adds that epic feel. And it made for such a fun time. I saw this at home on Netflix, as I just didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, but for how grandiose and riveting it constantly felt, it was one of those times where I wished I did get to check it out in theaters, as it would have just really enhanced my experience even more. RRR is nothing short of epic. It mixes a wide variety of tones and genres, and while one might find it jarring the way it shifts from one thing to the other, the fact that the film openly embraces it all won't make it a big deal, and you'll find yourself easily engaged the entire time, despite the 3-hour runtime. It's filled with a lot of grand spectacle, over-the-top action, elaborate dance sequences, and a heartfelt bromance that drives the film's emotional core, and it makes for one of the films this year you definitely don't want to miss. RRR gets an 8.5 out of 10. So let me know, did you see RRR, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you find it exciting? Do you want to see more from this director? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it. And for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching, everyone, and keep having fun with film.